lot of it here are all aquaculture, just we call it fragging forward.
Talk to me about this guy, because not everybody's gonna understand how or why you put a parrot in this tank.
So we actually do weekly water changes.
Weekly?
We have a Hawaiian dwarf yellow moray eel. People think, oh, eels are aggressive or mean. No, I get bit more by clownfish than anything else. People are like, are you afraid of sharks? I'm like, no, I'm afraid of Nemo.
Reef Builders, Evie here. I am in the beautiful state of Minnesota, and I actually want to take this opportunity while I'm here to introduce to you all a very special lady that we're actually going to be working with very soon on the platform, and that is the lovely Jennifer.
Thank you.
And she also did accept my invitation to start being on Reef Therapy with me for our special ladies edition.
We are very excited about that.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun. So while I'm here, I wanted to be able to show you all what Jen does. She is an amazing perfectionist business owner. She's very detail oriented. She works with incredible animals, and she has a fantastic staff to support her. Not only does she have the ability to make beautiful reef tanks, she brings in a lot of fish, and you do a tremendous amount of aquaculture as well. So tell me, Jen, how long have you been in business for, and what brought you into being a business owner?
So I have done New Wave for 25 years, so I've been doing it forever. And I started with a little fish tank, when I was a little kiddo with some guppies, and it just kind of then turned into a store. So yes, it's always been a passion of mine. I've loved learning. I love animals. I started college as pre-vet because I wanted to do that, but this is underwater world, also preservation, education now is like my ultimate goal.
Right, so this is actually one of your clients' tanks.
Yep.
This is one of two
in
the home.
So this tank we set up about a year ago. I've been servicing the aquariums for Josh, my client, for over 7 years. And so when he decided to build his forever home, then we wanted to make forever tanks. So we did a feature of a reef tank that mixed reef of all the different colors and different patterns of fish and corals, and then upstairs we did the fish only tanks. Down here, we really wanted to focus on the true mixed reef. I mean, because he has a lot of us have a love for a lot of the fluffy LPS corals that we've littered all over the bottom. And then as you go up, you want the flow. And then also we have started adding sticks. So we started adding our acros and our SPS, just to get all the colors of the rainbow. So from chalices, like rainbow chalices, to nems, to common leathers, all of it. And a lot of it here, minus some of the bigger pieces down here, are all aquaculture. We call it fragging forward, or part of our project Homegrown, where we have, we grow them out and then not taking from the ocean.
I love fragging forward. That's such a great term to use. I've never heard that. I'm totally gonna steal that, because that's amazing. I'm stealing it though. So as far as fish goes, there are some very, very unique fish in here. Yes, you're going to see your Desjardins sailfin tang, you're gonna see your cleaner wrasse, but you have some really neat hidden gems in here. Like there is a gem tang, there is a black tang in here who's shy, you've got a square block anthias. Talk to me about this guy, because not everybody's gonna understand how or why you put a parrot in this tank.
So I wanted color. Josh wanted something that was unique. And so the koi parrot is a really good option for a Reef Aquarium. They are more of an herbivore, which most people don't know. Also too, I'm not a huge proponent of other types of parrotfish because they get quite large. These ones stay smaller. So they stay, that 8 to maybe 10 inches. But you can see even right here, so some people say, oh no, he's eating the corals. No, he's picking the algae off of the rocks.
He's cleaning.
We have a Hawaiian dwarf yellow moray eel. but it's like one of the most passive fish. Like people think, oh, you know, eels are aggressive or mean. No, I get bit more by clownfish than anything else. People are like, are you afraid of sharks? I'm like, no, I'm afraid of Nemo. We have 8, but you'll see just like at the store too, we have the OG of the black storms. So that one is several years old, 5 to 6 years old, big female. So what I like to do with bigger aquariums is because I have the room, I can have fish that sometimes you see, sometimes you don't, because you have all the big fish like the tangs, you know, that you see all the time. But Swiss Guard basslet is one that I do have in here too. So it's like always that fun moment where you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
you know, so that
I love that too, because it makes people draw in and get closer to the tank, because now they're looking for the finer details of what you've done.
And then wrasses will be our next thing. It's kind of the last thing I add in an aquarium, especially since it's only about a year old.
Right. So what's water change schedule like for this?
Water change schedule, heavy in, heavy out. So we actually do weekly water changes.
Weekly?
Unless, so we do monitor very closely our phosphates and nitrates. If they were to dip below levels that I'm not comfortable with, I do a smaller water change, but generally speaking, yeah. We do
it's a heavy
60 to 90 gallons per week. And that way too, I can, while I'm doing that, I do the mass coral feeding, and it's just, like I said, heavy in, heavy out. Josh likes to feed his fish, so if I tell him he can't feed his fish, then he's unhappy, the fish are unhappy.
In the back though, we've got a whole different facility going on back there. You've got a quarantine for corals going on back there, and you've got plumbing, and you've got a refugium going on? Okay, so let's go check that out. So this is an optimal size back room. There's plenty of space to move around. You've got your water reservoirs. You have a total quarantine going on right here for corals waiting to go in. And then we've also got a sink for cleaning everything, like your skimmer, having to mess with anything going on like hoses and things of that nature. The plumbing, Jen, I absolutely have got to compliment you guys on, is so nice.
Because I've been doing maintenance for so long, if this is a mess,
You're
I'm
a
less
mess
like,
working with it.
It makes you not even want to touch it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna bonk my head, I'm gonna say a lot of 4-letter colorful words. And then also having like the fail safe. So having, you know, having the ball valves and having the true unions to make sure that, you know, we can disconnect things if we need to, you know, because
true unions are a lifesaver.
Yes.
They're an absolute lifesaver. They weren't super popular in being used a lot many years ago until everybody figured out it was way simpler to start using them.
yeah, then to have to cut it.
And I don't know why we were so hard-headed when it came to that.
They're not cheap. And that's the other thing. So
it's worse to cut it.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
And sniff the glue for hours. So how long is quarantine?
It depends on, it depends on several things.
What it is, how it's doing.
Correct.
What you have to treat it with.
I want to make sure for pest control too. It's easier, obviously, if I can look at it, do what I need to do here, and then not put it, not just pests like animal pests, but like algae pests. Other things too, if like our coral falls or gets stung, I now have a place to have it recover, whereas you don't necessarily, not only for visual purposes, having it recover in the main display, but being able to really, like if I have to cut it, I'm gonna cut it and let it heal in here and then put it back.
So what's the future of what the next steps are for this tank? Are they anticipating or planning out any upgrades other than the blades being the newest thing? Are they thinking about anything else along that regimen of equipment?
No, we have so much going on in here, but I think for us, because we just added blades to the main display as well, to give that depth. If I have to, I would have to add a few more to the front, just depending on coral growth.
So who is this? This is B. So what's B?
B is alkalinity.
B is alkalinity. Okay, so they're dosing alkalinity right now to the tank.
Yep, elk and then calcium, magnesium. And then we were having, because it's a newer tank, we find that we a lot of times have issues with keeping nitrates up.
Yes.
So bottoming out and having 0 nitrates are what we want to avoid. So we were dosing nitrates as well.
Gotta dose the tank dirty.
I know, isn't that,
The
I
things
mean,
you
back
have
in the
to
day
do.
when we started, if someone
Zero
told,
everything.
and if somebody told me you'd be putting nitrate or phosphate into your tank to keep stability, I would have laughed at you. I'd been
Yeah,
like,
no. All right, so this is impressive, but we're also going to check out the very impressive filtration in the other tank room, which is down this way.
The main thing that we started with was like our dream fish list. The good thing that I had for this install was we were part of the whole build when the house was being done.
This is literally larger than my bathtub.
So this is what
This is
dreams are made
massive.
of. And that's why it's called the dream box. When you see the size of these fish, when you see how fat they are, I mean, food and diet is so important, but also the water parameters and keeping clean water is very, very important too.